This week on QDL, how about an Uber for manufacturing? Or how about equipment sharing? Well, there's a company that's doing just that. We'll talk to Rigved Raut, founder of McPond, a peer-to-peer platform based in Chicago that lets manufacturers list their idle machines for rent. Find out more when we come back. Welcome back to Quality Digest Live. QDL is your weekly look at who and what is making news in the world of quality. I'm Dirk Ducharme, Editor-in-Chief of Quality Digest. Today's QDL is brought to you by QMark, manufacturers of styli and accessories for the metrology and machine tool industries. QMark, whose motto is same-day styli. Well, you know, it's not unusual for machine shops to have machines sitting idle, sometimes for a short time, sometimes for longer. But machine idle time, as we all know, is a machine that isn't making money for the company. And ideally, you would like to have nearly 100% machine utilization. Your machine's making money for you all the time. Well, for smaller job shops, this can be almost impossible. But what if you could rent out your machines when they weren't in use? Well, that's the goal behind McPond, a Chicago-based company that lets manufacturers list their idle machines for rent. And here to tell us how that works is Rigved Raut, founder of McPond. Thanks for joining us, Rigved.
Hi, Trick.
So before we get into the specifics, as I mentioned there in our intro, McPond has been kind of referred to as the Uber or the Lyft of manufacturing. So tell us a little bit in more detail exactly what McPond does.
Exactly. So I come from a manufacturing background, and through my manufacturing experience of past 10 years, I realized that in a manufacturing facility, as much as 70% of the time machines are idle, and this idle capacity can be utilized. Companies can capitalize on this idle capacity by renting it to other businesses, and at the same time other businesses gain access to these machines and they can increase their production, or they can catch up with their orders. So it's a win-win situation for the machine owner as well as the other companies, small businesses looking to increase their capacity.
And so that was your motivation for starting McPond, is to help those companies make use of those down machines?
Exactly. So the motivation, it came, we are manufacturers, and we manufacture this electric motor parts. And many times, we have these overseas customers and they require servicing of these parts. So it becomes very difficult for us to get those parts back to our facility in India. So it's better to have, if something like this was available, we could have serviced those parts, and the customer would have saved a lot of time and also money. So if given access to machines, there is a lot of benefits for both the parties. Okay. So that was our motivation to start this business.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about how McPond works. Maybe step us through how it might work for the manufacturer who wants to list their equipment, as well as for the user who's looking for a piece of equipment to use.
Mm-hmm. So booking it is a very simple process. So if there is a idle machine at a manufacturer's facility, he just lists his machine on our platform. Listing is very easy. It's a simple step-by-step process where he can list the machine. He can upload the photographs, add the description of the machine, add its features, and he can list the machine. If there is a company who is looking to rent the machine, even the renting process is fairly simple. He can book the machine. Once he books the machine, he gets to describe the job, what he wants to do on that machine with the machine owner. And once the machine owner confirms the booking, his credit card is charged, and then he gets to use the machine at the machine owner's facility. It's a very fairly simple process. So when he gets over there, the machine operator is of machine owner. The machine is being operated by the machine owner. So it's a simple process.
Oh, okay. So if I'm looking for just for me to personalize this a little bit so I can visualize it. So let's say I'm looking for a CNC machine. So I go on to McPond and I find somebody who has a CNC machine that they're renting out. So I on the website, I'm assuming that they have how much that they're charging, what, per hour or something like that?
Exactly. So we have like hourly rental rates, and once you select the dates on the calendar, you go to the next step, which is booking. You make your credit card payment, and then you book that machine for that period of time. And once you book that machine, you get to discuss with the machine owner what you want to do on the machine, your job details. You might also want to ask, if there are additional features or capacity, which you might require, like maybe you might require some CAD support, or you might require some raw material, or if you might also require some tech support from the machine owner. So you can discuss all these things, before you book the machine. And once that is done, you go to the facility of machine owner, and you start using that machine. But the machine is operated by the machine owner's operator.
Okay, so I think that's a key bit there. So I, as the person who's renting the machine, I would not actually operate the machine. The machine owner is actually still operating the machine. Is that correct?
Exactly. The machine owner's qualified operator operates the machine.
Oh, okay. So that gets away from any liability issues of a person coming in wanting to use a CNC machine, not really knowing what they're doing, and maybe damaging the machine. So really what they're doing is they're setting up, this is an easier way to set up small jobs with people who have different types of machines, a way of setting up small jobs and getting those two people connected, the machine owner and the person who needs that job done.
Exactly.
Okay.
Our vision is to inspire manufacturing and to create wealth of connections in the manufacturing industry, which hasn't changed for last 100 years. So we want to do this. This is our vision to inspire the manufacturing.
So this, I guess now that I kind of understand a little bit better how it works, so what this means is that if I am an inventor, let's say, or some sort of innovator even, and I need to have some sort of specialty part created, and let's say it does need to be machined, So I could, rather than, get on the phone or get on the internet and try to, contact a bunch of different machine shops and see whether they can handle my job, this really gives me a place to go where I can say, okay, who are the CNC, people who are renting equipment maybe in my area, and connect with them very quickly and agree on a price. It's kind of a much more streamlined way for a person who doesn't have their own machine shop to be able to do this.
Yeah, exactly. See, this platform, it provides transparency, over, what you say is outsourcing. So we provide transparency, we provide access to the machines, where the machine renter can go actually to the facility to see his job getting done. And so it provides and transparency over outsourcing.
So is there really a reason for the person who's renting the machine, let's say myself, is there even really a reason for them to go to the shop? So I guess what I'm thinking is maybe, okay, in my area, on McPond, I don't see that McPond shows an operator in my area. Oh, but in the next state, oh, that guy looks perfect and I like his prices. Could I do that? I mean, I don't necessarily have to go to the shop, do I?
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to go to the shop, but again, as I said, our vision is to create wealth of connections to help, come industry together. We want to get, ideas. It's like sharing of ideas. So we always promote that the renter goes to the factory and gets his job done.
Okay, so you're saying that there's more value to be had by me actually going to the shop, meeting face to face with the operator, maybe explaining a little bit more face to face, being able to show things, maybe a lot better communication than simply sending a CAD drawing to him over the internet and saying, machine this for me.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what that is what we want to do. We want to create the wealth of connections. We want to generate social capital out of in manufacturing. With this platform.
And so we've been talking right here about CNC machines. I mean, that's obvious. What kind of machines are operators putting for rent on your platform so far?
Oh, we got like wire EDM, we got CNC machines, we got 3D printers, then we got laser cutting machines. We also got sandblasting machines, and we got ovens as well. So we got wide range of machines already listed on our platform.
Wow, that's really interesting. And how's it going? So you guys, well, first of all, how long has McPond been up and running?
We launched in February, and we've been up since then, and we've been enhancing user experience on our platform since then. We've been iterating. We are gathering market feedback, from manufacturing industry, and we are getting to grow.
Yeah, so you're getting some customers, both putting their equipment on there and people going out there and using it.
Yeah, we are iterating. So what we're doing is, we are getting equipment on our website, on our platform, and soon we will be starting to rent out those equipment. So it's been our iteration phase will be over by end of this month. So once that is done, we will start renting out those equipments to other businesses.
Okay, so right now you're still early stages. So right now the actual renting process and so forth isn't actually happening. It's more just getting feedback from both sides on how this platform works.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Getting more machines. Once we reach the benchmark of number of machines, we'll start renting those.
And can you share what's your best benchmark for the number of machines you want? Can you share that, or?
Our number of machines, it's not total number of machines, but we want to have various kinds of machines in a particular area. Like, we need CNC machines, we need lathe machines, we need milling machines, we need 3D printers, press. So we need machines in a particular city or in area. Like say, we are starting from Chicago land. So, and we got many machines from Chicago. So we are concentrating in that area. And once we have lots of machines, various types of machines in that area, we will start renting those to businesses.
Okay. Well, this sounds great. I really appreciate you coming on the show and kind of telling us about really a kind of a unique thing. I hadn't really run across this before. So thanks for coming in on the show, Rigved, and kind of sharing what McPond is doing. And you're saying it's actually going to go live in about a month?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's already live, for manufacturers to list their machine. But to rent the machine, we'll be live within a month or so.
Okay, and just to tell our viewers, we have a link underneath the player page down there, so you can link out to McPond. You can take a look at how that process works. So, Rigved, thanks for being with us on the show today. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Rick. My pleasure.
Okay, thank you. Well, that was Rigved Raut, founder of McPond, and that's great. I mean, go out, like I said, follow that link. It's really fascinating what they're doing. So follow the link to McPond underneath the player page down there, and go out and check it out. As he said, it's mostly rolling out in the Chicago area right now, but they plan on expanding it all over the place. So keep your eyes on that. All right. And now it's time for today's Tech Corner, brought to you by QMark, manufacturers of styli and accessories for the metrology and machine tool industries. QMark products are manufactured in the United States, right down in Southern California, south of us here, and they are an ISO 9001 registered company. And their products are, of course, completely guaranteed. And here's the big thing, they offer same-day shipping of all of their catalog products as well as many of their custom designs. In fact, their motto is same-day styli. And we're going to look at a few of those products here today. We're going to look at a couple of different calibration spheres and 3 different probe types that are sold by QMark and how you would calibrate these probes using the calibration sphere. So if we can just switch over to our gauge cam here. Okay, so what we see in front of us here is, I've got a couple of calibration spheres, a 25 millimeter calibration sphere, an 8 millimeter calibration sphere, and a couple probes. And the first thing we're going to look at is an off-the-shelf from QMark disc probe here. I'm going to show you how you might calibrate a disc probe using the 25 millimeter calibration sphere. Now, where I'm going to be touching this probe, you can get that information, the actual distances from QMark. Depends on the size of the sphere, the size of the probe, but the process is always the same. You're going to take 12 measurements. You're going to take 12 measurements, 4 at the equator, 4 at a predetermined distance above the equator, and 4 at a predetermined distance below the equator, so 12 total. Then you're going to take that data to qualify or calibrate your disc probe. Now, when you're done with that, you should, kind of common sense dictates and QMark suggests, you should now go out and actually measure a known artifact, so maybe a gauge block. So you might go out and take some measurements on a gauge block and make sure that the data you get back is the data that you expect. This is just kind of a way to verify that your calibration went the way it should have. Next, we're going to look at a 300 micron miniature probe. Again, this is an off-the-shelf probe from QMark. I still have it in this little holder here so that I don't have to get my fat fingers in the way. So it's 300 micron. They make these down to 100 micron. And again, we're going to use a different calibration sphere. We're going to use the 8 millimeter calibration sphere in this case. So I'm just going to swap this one out. Again, what I'm showing you today are all off-the-shelf products from QMark. So we're going to take our 300 micron miniature probe and we'll use our 8 millimeter calibration sphere. We'll go and we'll take our measurements, use that data to calibrate our miniature probe. And finally, what I have here, again, I have this stuck in a piece of styrofoam so I can hold on to it. This is a cylindrical probe. So notice that the ruby tip here, this is a cylinder with a curved end on it. That curved end is not a perfect hemisphere. And that's important to note because when you go to calibrate a cylindrical probe, you got to make sure that you do not approach your calibration sphere at 180 degrees, because if you do, most likely the curved tip of the probe will not contact the curved edge of the calibration sphere. So what you really want to do, you want to come in at about 150 degrees. At 150 degrees, you're going to take your measurement points and again, use that data to calibrate your cylindrical sphere. So again, calibrate your cylindrical probe. So again, what we've looked at today is a 25 millimeter calibration sphere, an 8 millimeter calibration sphere, a cylindrical probe, a 300 micron miniature probe. These are available down to 100 microns, and a cylindrical probe. So what we looked at today were standard probes, but you can also very quickly order custom probes from QMark. They have a great little tool on their website at cmms.com. That's cmms.com, and it's called Design Your Own Probe, and it's very cool. In fact, we have a link to a demo we did of it in the list of links below, so go out there and check it out. Design Your Own Probe is a visual probe design app which runs in your web browser that allows you to very quickly create and order your probe online. So this tool really helps QMark live up to their motto of same-day styli by streamlining the custom probe ordering process. So be sure to check that out at QMark, and that is cmms.com, cmms.com. And also be sure to subscribe to their YouTube channel. QMark has a lot of videos out there that you will find useful. So again, thanks to the folks at QMark for sending us their products to review. That's our show for today, and as usual, if there is someone you would like to see on the show or some topic you would like us to cover, send those ideas to us at qdl@qualitydigest.com, and I will try to cover those topics on the show if I can. Thanks for joining us today, and we will see you next week on QDL. So long.